Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Pub Table Racers, another Tuesday night, 8 p.m. live here on Facebook. We appreciate you being here. This is episode number 50. My name is Tim Packman. Sitting next to me is my partner, co-host, and awesome friend,
Warren Brosell.
There you go. Way to come for
I get awesome friend.
I thought I was talking about someone else. We appreciate you being with us tonight. Warren, each and every week we have this bucket of beer in front of us. Why do we do that?
Because we're Pub Table Racers, and this is our kind of our staple.
That's it. You gotta have it.
And what could be better than to sit and drink beer and talk about racing?
And Miller High Life is in tribute to Bobby Allston. So,
tribute to Bobby
there
Allston.
you go.
Cheers.
And don't forget, folks, check out our merchandise on our website. We have awesome koozies, hats, t-shirts, tumblers, and children's books. Believe it or not, one of us here wrote a children's book.
Not anything about a pub table.
It's a children's book.
Racing book.
It's a children's, not about kids.
Not how to get your child into a pub.
Not teaching kids how to sit around
Right.
with a bucket of beer.
Not a Wisconsin thing.
All right. Hello, Jerome Boyd. That's good. From Michigan. Toy Pickers. That's the place in... went there the other day. It's the place in the Antique Mall.
I seen you posted.
Antique Mall. I could have spent all day there. Mom from Florida, how you doing? All right, I got to take a sip. Otherwise, I get in trouble.
Yep.
How's your day today? Work?
Great. It was awesome.
Okay. I only drink on Tuesday nights, folks. All right. Tonight's show, we are going to talk about, briefly, we're going to talk about the, I thought they were pretty good. A lot of action. Another winner. So we have 3 playoff spots are now tied up out of 16.
Of new winners.
So
or
of this year.
Let's say fresh faces.
Fresh faces. So William Byron won his second one.
Yeah.
Mike Snyder won his first one. Congrats to them. RCR, Andy Street, and his wife Lauren. So congrats to them. We worked with them at RCR before. And
nice people.
Great people. And great opportunity. So it was first win for both of them. All right. These shows and the website are brought to you by, of course, Lake Norman Patio and Game Rooms, our #1 advertiser. Brad, go see him. Brawley School Road. Near Oak and Canvasback, where they meet right there. Excellent selection. Brand new things coming in for spring.
All your patio around the pool, deck, gazebo,
in your living room,
any kind of outdoor furniture needs.
I think we need to go do a show there, sitting in his fine furniture.
That would be nice. Maybe have
Saturday,
a fire going or something.
Little fire going, maybe some nice cocktails or something.
Right.
He has those ready for us.
He also has a shuffleboard
downstairs in the
pool tables,
signed guitars,
air hockey,
my favorite,
and your bubble top hockey.
Yeah, that's the best one.
Foosball,
what you call it. Yeah. So go see him, check him out. We appreciate his support, and also we'd like to thank RacingJunk.com. Buy, sell, trade. They have lists of all kinds of parts, pieces.
Muffler bearings,
everything you need. Cars, clothing,
whatever you need.
Buildings, everything, haulers, whatever you need. Go check them out. They've been really good to work with.
Alternator fluid, they got it all.
Wiper fluid, all those things. That's good. You know, I bought some there. I tried to buy some, they didn't have it. Also, we'd like to thank the Garage Shop, Aaron Brown and his gang out there in Denver. Last night, there was a little something else involved with called the Garage Shop Insider. The first episode was last night. We're going to do every Monday night, 7 o'clock, and we talked about the Dodge Daytona, the number 71 Bobby Isaac, that everyone knows how they built that. And we're going to talk to a bunch of the guys that work in the shop. Tim Clements, a friend of ours that we work with, friend of yours, you work with, you've known him forever. But it's just
3 or 4.
Right. So it's a cool thing, the Aero Wars, all kinds of great stuff, Bonneville Salt Flats, so check that out. It's on YouTube, the Garage Shop, check that out. That's coming up. Should we tell them a little bit of news we have? Or?
Sure, let's go.
Okay. This morning, we found out that Pub Table Racers podcast is now going to be available on the Speed Sport Podcast Network and the NASCAR Digital Media Network Podcast Network. So that's kind of a cool thing.
And we're expanding a little bit.
We're expanding a little bit, so we are branching out on there. Mr. Bill, thanks for putting it together. You guys at Speed Sport, we're trying to get the show itself on there, but we're going to start with the podcast. So that's kind of cool. It's in a little, branching out there. Let's cheers that, man.
Cheers.
That's kind of a big deal. Just in this big exotic studio, it's Speed Sport and NASCAR Digital America. That's a Richard Childress speech. It's only in America. Bill Mars. Billy, we know that. Oh, we got questions already coming in.
Richard Childress speech, which hold my watch.
Yeah, exactly. As you can see, in honor of Billy being on, we gave Dale the night off. We brought Rusty in because those two were synonymous for so long. What else do we have to talk
Billy
about?
will tell us about the Rusty stuff.
Sure, I'm sure he will.
He's got
Good
a lot
things
of
there.
good-
We have a new sponsor coming on next week. Rapid Removal. Our friend, your
Darren Russell.
Darren Russell. He's going to jump on board 20-yard storage containers. If you're moving around, we'll talk about it next week. And not that they go together, but he will be our guest next week as well.
Your trash is his bread and butter.
His trash is his bread and butter. Not his treasure, because he gets rid of it for you. So we have that coming up next week. All right, 20-yard dumps is what he has there. Your thoughts on Homestead?
As a whole. Let's start with Xfinity.
Sure.
A lot of good first starting out with that green racetrack, I think is really awesome
Because no practice,
no practice, and the tire wear becomes an issue, and then then strategy becomes an issue, and when to pit, when not to pit. I think that helps the racing.
Sure.
I think it makes it better whenever you have a lot of tire wear. It's not boring. It's not who's next, running out of fuel, all of that. It's you come when you got tires.
Right.
They give an extra set. I think some of the guys played some different strategies, and
watch it play out.
What happened at the end.
So, real quick, does Myatt Snyder send a thank you note to Noah Gregson or to David Starr?
We
in a nutshell, guys.
I hate that happened.
Me too. It was like
he was wearing them out. He's running
raced his ass off. Yeah.
But that kind of stuff happens.
Right.
The first thing I thought about was the spotter.
Right.
And I thought, God, why would he let him be so close to him?
Right.
I mean, obviously he didn't. Nobody knew that the guy had a problem. But I hate this saying.
Right.
I'm saying it is what it is.
Right.
And that place owes that kid too now.
But it was like, and I'm not laughing, but it was like, he's gonna. Oh wait, he did, and then you're like, what?
Right.
It was kind of like. I mean, I hate it for the guys. I hate it for the team. Cup on Sunday.
And now there's quite the feud going on between.
Oh yeah.
The David Starr,
Carl Long,
and the Noah Gregson thing.
That's what they want. There you go.
That's what they want.
But you know what? They got to race each other again this weekend.
They do. Is it much of a feud?
No,
Probably not really. But
they'll go. We talked at the track. Everything's good.
Yeah.
And Noah's Max. He's going to his hometown this week in Las Vegas. He'd like to walk in there with a win. Maybe he'll take one out of there. Thought. Cup race on Sunday.
Cup race for me. I thought it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Again, tire wear was a big deal. There was a lot of comers and goers.
Yeah.
Our cars looked okay. Yep. The Penske cars looked okay at the beginning, and then they just absolutely fell apart 2/3 into the race, and whether it was the sun going down and we didn't plan for it, whatever, but whatever. The 24 went from the back to the front, no problem. And all the Chevrolets were very, very strong. I'll say that. There was really only one strong Toyota. The 19 was
strong.
Was probably at least a top 5 car.
Yep, which he was third.
And the 11 was okay.
Right.
But when he went to the back, he couldn't drive up to the front.
So a speeding penalty too. Yeah. But when those two,
the one was I thought the one probably could have raced the 24 for the win if he doesn't have a loose wheel.
Right. But then you had on that coming to the one stage there, and Hamlin pulls in front of Truex, and Truex, lost his mind. So and he took advantage.
It's a teammate thing.
Yeah, there goes Byron.
Well, tell me about that teammate thing.
Moving right along, Uncle John and where are we at? Jeez.
We'll say this: the Roush cars.
Yeah.
Both of them ran very, very respectable.
Yep.
The 17 actually won the stage,
right?
And Newman was actually up there all day too.
First top 10.
So
it's good. The ebb and flows.
We're starting to have some.
My brother in Vegas says hi. Race week.
Hey,
you have the race weekend. He can't camp this year. My Uncle John.
No camping.
No camping. Whatever. All right, I think it's time we bring our man.
Let's bring him on. Let's get this going.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we
got
have a very special guest because he's got a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Very special guest. He's from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He's a 36-year veteran, 37th year now. He's worked for Robert Yates, Team Penske, Hendrick Motorsports, now with Junior Motorsports, the one, the only.
Don't forget the King.
What?
Don't forget
and
the
Richard
King.
Petty Motorsports, that's right.
Yeah,
Don't forget the King. Billy, come on up. Billy Wilburn. If we had a crowd here right now, they'd be applauding because the response. we've had having Billy
I
on.
wonder if we should get tracks.
We should always get little. Yeah, that's it. Perfect. Hop in there, man. We got your buddy Rusty there.
Do you need
watch
another
over
water? You want a water or something else?
Good. You want your water over there? Look at you. You're gonna be talking a lot of stuff. I'll get you water. Hang on.
Even if
Billy, how'd you get your start racing? Go ahead.
It was a mistake.
There was no stop.
no.
All right, so Winston-Salem, and you started. How did your interest in racing? Where did it come from?
Well, I used to listen to the races on the radio and TV, and well, there wasn't a lot on TV back then. It was ABC Wide World of Sports.
Yeah.
So you'd watch the first 5 laps and then the last 4 laps. But I don't know. I had an interest in racing and cars when I was in school, and you know, it kind of went from there. Richard Petty was my hero.
Right.
And I only lived about 30 miles from Petty Enterprises, and I spent a lot of time in Greensboro and Asheboro going to school and met a lot of different people that were involved in different parts of motorsports at that time. And kind of one thing led to another.
What was your first job?
He was my hero too. Like in 1971, I got a slot car track with Richard.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Loved it.
But
anyways.
So when did you first step your foot into a place they have on work here?
Well, a friend of mine, Van Pierce, his father sponsored Kurt Bryant, who was Darrell Bryant's son, and he was running Daytona dash cars back in the day. They called them international sedans at some point.
Right.
And so that was kind of my introduction to that part of it. And Darrell Bryant was crew chief at the time for Joe Milliken.
Joe Milliken.
And Performance Connection Pontiac.
Mm-hmm.
And
There you go.
it's Stewart Racing. And that led me to a job there during the summers and after school. And
What'd you do?
I was cleaning parts, just mounting tires,
Yeah.
pulling inner tubes back in the day when we were
Right. You're just gonna say pulling inner tubes. There you go.
Yeah, and a buddy of mine would take me there and drop me off and then pick me up on his way home from work. He worked in Asheboro, so,
Right.
you know, and then I met some of the guys at Petty's because they weren't far away, and, you know, kind of one thing led to another there. And Richard left Petty Enterprises and went to Kannapolis with Curb, and Mike Dean got to be friends with Mike, and Mike ended up hiring me when I got out of high school. So that was really my first
Right out of high school.
job was at Curbs with Petty.
And what were you doing there? What was your job duties?
I was a mechanic.
Yep.
Went on the road, did tires. I was a tire guy back when you really had to do tires.
Yeah.
You actually had stagger. You had
They were biased
measuring
by-
them for
they
a
were biased
reason.
by
They were
tires.
measuring for a reason.
You had to now. Okay, so back in the ASA days, I got sent to the. We were running Hoosiers, and I got sent to the Hoosier trailer to go measure tires. And Fenning gave me a tape measure and gave me some numbers, and he says, "All right, go find me as many of these as you can, and as many of these as you can." And it's 100 degrees out, and I'm inside this trailer, and you measure tire, and that one ain't right. Did you have to go through all of that,
Well,
or did you just get your tires handed to you?
we got them handed to us, but then when Hoosier came into the Cup, it got a little more. What do you call it? A little more
Technical?
complicated.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they chalk mark them, and you go say, "I need 89, you need 88 3/4, whatever." You know. And so the tire. I feel like the tire guys back then did a lot more work that was beneficial than now.
Yeah.
Now I
So,
think they just.
what was it like? Now you're working for your hero, and you're on the road with your hero, and your cars. What was that? I mean, it had to be like little,
Oh, it was,
fresh out of high school, and there's your
It
guy.
was unbelievable.
You're working with your guy.
Yeah, I was working with my hero and learned a lot. Dale Inman was really probably to this day still a good friend, and I keep in touch with him. And
Hall of Famer.
oh man, amazing! And I learned so much working there, and I don't know how to say it other than it was just pretty much a dream come true.
Right.
Do you have a Richard Petty story you can share with us? Favorite moment you had? First win, something with him?
I don't really. A lot of things.
Something he might have said to you that you can share.
Well, there's a lot of them.
Just one that comes to mind.
Wilkesboro.
Okay, well,
Okay.
Wilkesboro. We're pitting there, no pit wall back
That's
in the
right.
day.
You
and
changing?
I was changing tires, and he come down pit road, and there was, I don't remember who it was pitting behind us and in front of us, and our pit stall was full. And he drove by and he goes, "Okay, guys, I'll be right back."
That's all he said.
And probably nice and even keel.
All right, guys,
Not,
we'll be right
not
back.
shouting, not yelling.
He said, "Okay, guys, I'll be right back." Yeah,
All right,
it
we'll
was-
be
it
here.
was so
We're having ice cream.
But he was that way. He was a matter of fact kind of guy, you know.
That's good. And
So also, we didn't mention, because I could say this too. probably one of the earlier world-class tire changers.
Yes.
That was in our sport.
Right.
That
And that's
that was
really
actually a mechanic, probably a little bit of a fabricator and a tire changer,
Yeah.
not just where's my protein shake and give me my gun. You know.
Right.
What I mean?
No, you did a lot.
By the way, can you put my tire on?
Right. I'm gonna need some orange tape to get that line down.
I look back. I looked up people like Dale Inman and Leonard Wood, and Leonard Wood carried his own tire.
Right.
That's right.
And so
Yeah.
those are the guys. And I told Dale Inman when I went to work there, I said I want to be a tire changer, and he said, "Well, we're going to put you on a tire." And he kind of started there.
Okay.
Good
So
deal.
that's actually the reason Darryl Bryant hired me, was to be a pit crew guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you were right out of high school. You were fresh. You were good.
Well, I
You
spent
probably
a
had
lot of
about the
time-
right build, right?
I spent a lot of time in the barn. Me and
Yeah.
nobody knows this guy. His name's Jay Casper.
Throwing hay.
You might remember Chip Lane.
I do a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
He ran what was used to be Bush cars. or
Okay.
whatever.
That name is very, very
It was
familiar.
the
Yeah.
old Grand National Series
Yeah.
or whatever. And he and his grandson, Jay Casper, and I spent with an old Ingersoll Rand and an air hose and a
Right.
compressor they couldn't keep up.
Mm-hmm.
We spent hours in there on that old car just changing tires in the
So
third
that was-
floor barn.
That's
So
what it took.
pit practice.
That was
Yeah.
Old school
That's
style.
it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Walter McCarty,
Yeah.
which you call,
Wally Bacardi and Coke.
Exactly.
You know Wally.
he says, without a doubt, one of the best tire changers in the business.
There you
There's an
go, yeah.
accolade for you right
That's
there.
nice.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
All right, so how
I
long
tried
you-
hard at it.
Well, you made a name for yourself, because I remember before I moved down from Buffalo, I knew who you were just because of who you were working with, the guy behind you.
Our pit crews were good.
So you went from Petty to
Went from Petty to actually to Hendrick with Darryl Walter.
there you go.
And
Another
spent
Hall of
3
Famer.
years. Yeah, I spent 3 years with Darryl at Hendrick Motorsports, Jeff Hammond, and won a Daytona 500.
I was
Scoot
gonna
up-
say,
scoot up
did
a
you-
little bit. Scoot up a
did-
little bit.
yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Were you
There go.
were you Iggy Shuffle?
I was there. Right?
Okay.
Yes,
I'll have to look
sir.
at that.
Yeah.
All right. So how many
And
Daytona?
how old are
500s?
you now? How old are you about now? When okay, you probably were you changing fronts or rears?
I was changing rears. Eddie Dickerson was on the front.
Okay.
And it took me a few years to get there, moving around different teams and stuff.
Yeah.
I actually changed front and rears.
Yeah. Back then, you guys could do it. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. Okay, but what I'm getting at is, you're what? Are you 20? Are you 21?
I'm in my 20s.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you just win a Daytona 500 with Darryl Waltrip, and you're going over the wall, changing tires. Just so everybody knows, he didn't have a fire suit on.
Right.
He probably had baseball gloves on. Batting gloves. Everybody wear batting gloves.
Right. Yep.
Some wrestling knee pads,
Yep.
maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yep.
But and they were also coming down pit road 200 mile an hour.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Well, no
they were
speed
coming-
limit.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe faster.
Yeah, I was probably as scared as I've ever been at Richmond one time. When Darryl Walter, and I was working for Richard Petty at the
Right.
time, but Darryl Walter and Dale Earnhardt come down pit road, and I thought they were going to kill us all. And that was quite, Kyle Petty's run over me. And I've been hit several times, and it's, it's still dangerous.
Sure.
It is.
Even with
It
pit
is.
road speed,
Right.
It's still
Right.
extremely
It's still. It
dangerous,
is.
but back in those days, it
Yeah.
was-
A good buddy of mine, Josh Shiplett, just got hit
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
weekend,
Saw that, yeah.
and I know Shippy from working at RCR, but they do the best they can with what they got.
Yeah.
But it was a lot more dangerous back then.
Yeah, I was in Atlanta when those boys got killed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when everything
Stevens,
changed right there.
At Riverside, had those issues.
Yeah.
Well, that
Bad deal.
brought
They
change
needed to
on.
do something.
Yeah.
It was too much.
How many Daytona 500s do you have?
One.
One.
Only one.
Wow.
Darryl Walker.
Okay.
And
Championship.
then he did
None.
that. Dan-
No
No
championship.
championship.
You have no cup championships.
No. We were second a couple times with Rusty.
Right. Wow.
And we were in the running there with Darryl one year.
Jeez.
That's the thing I tell a lot of people. I said, I was working at Hendrick when Jimmy won one of the 7. I don't know which one it was.
Yeah.
And so I was included. Rick included us all in that, so that was nice. But I've never worked for a team.
So you don't feel like, but weren't you on R&D or weren't you? What were you doing for them?
Working with Chase.
Well, okay.
Chase Elliott.
So is that why you just didn't felt like it was part of?
Well, I mean,
Because I know how that. I know what you're saying.
You want to be part of that group.
Yeah.
That's actually doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, we've been close. Won a lot of races. You know, those years with Rusty, we had years we won 10, 11 races.
Yes.
You know,
How long were you with Team Penske?
14 years.
14 years. So that's kind of where people got to really know you, because now the TV exposure's coming up. You're winning all those races. You're being talked about. You're being talked about on television. Because I knew who you were before I moved down here, and I knew you were one of the top, crew members and well known and everything.
Yeah.
So you tire change. Give us a good Rusty story.
Boy, there's so many.
One that you can tell.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to think a minute.
Think
All right,
a
that's
minute,
fine.
and then I'll ask you a question while you're thinking. So
You're a double think, Warren.
Huh?
Then it's the double think.
I can tell you.
No, it's
Rusty,
going to be easy. My question.
Rusty was probably one of the most competitive people I've worked for.
Yeah.
Verbally, all of the guys I've worked for are competitive, but Rusty Wallace he'd tell you how competitive, and he would tell you when we weren't doing what we should be doing.
Got it.
And he more than once he took us in the conference room, because the team wasn't as big as they are
Right.
these days. He'd say, guys, we'd run, our best finish might be a 6th, and our worst finish might be an 8th, which is not terrible,
No.
but it wasn't a win.
Right.
He said, man, I want to see some action out here. We got to get going.
Sounds
You
like
know,
him.
and I mean, he was the greatest part of my career. Probably was working with Rusty Wallace in a lot of different ways. He was a guy that was involved. He was engaged, and anything less than winning.
And he was
unacceptable.
Yeah, he's all about. He's got the blinders on, and all it is win.
Right.
Yeah, and racing.
And
he was committed. I think guys in that era were way more committed than some now. Not that they're not now, but
Right.
it's just a different world.
And I think guys like, okay, so I know Rusty, I know Mark Martin, I knew Kowicki, I knew Davey a little bit, and it's because I think of what they came from.
Mm-hmm.
They had a different focus
Mm-hmm.
on what they had to do,
I agree.
and they were more about, they knew they had to work harder to be hard, and he was the guy that came from nothing,
Right.
and was something, and I think the work ethic in them guys are always harder.
Sure.
I think that era was that kind of signified.
Yeah, absolutely. Of the guy,
Good. You good? Matt Shoot. I don't know. Shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Class that guy on and off the track. Billy taught me a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
okay, so
Thank you.
For Jack Ely says, not sure if you remember, but we pitted a
Big
car
Jack.
together in the early '80s at Atlanta Cup race for the O2 car owned by Baxter Price.
Mhm.
Mike Potter drove it a long time ago. You remember?
Yeah, I think I was a jack man.
You were Jack, man.
I think I was.
Jeez.
Ask him, tell me if I'm right.
It
Wasn't I the jack man?
Jack, was he the Jack man?
So
sorry.
Big Jack and I worked for Jeffrey Fenning building pit equipment.
The jack was bigger than I was back then.
He was a
Really?
big guy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Jackie.
Dave Chanette says,
Chanette.
Yep.
how many years did Midnight come out of the stables and put back on track?
I don't know, 3 or 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like they said, we're
Yeah,
done with
that
this
thing
car.
won- that
They
thing won.
retired it, and then
Yeah,
they brought it
it-
back.
I think over its history, it probably won 15 races.
Yeah, it was a heck of a car.
Yeah, it's
So
amazing.
I wanted to bring up, my question to you was when you're changing tires, right? You're going on. Were you a road guy?
Yes.
Also,
Well, I was a road guy off and on. I played many different roles at Penske, but more times than not, I came on the weekend just to be the picture guy.
okay.
Okay, so when you're part of that era.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well,
I want to know,
yeah.
you weren't just lifting weights and changing tires. You're working in the shop.
Oh yeah.
Big time.
So you're putting cars together, or front end suspension guy, or
Yep.
rear end guy, or whatever.
Gary Brooks, myself.
Gary Brooks, yeah,
we
great
were
guy.
we were basically the assemblers, put the cars together,
Mm-hmm.
and when Todd Parrott left, Jeffrey Thousand kind of took over what was the car chief role at that time.
Okay.
So we all worked with Jeffrey or Todd before Todd left to go with Dale Jarrett and them. So between the 3 or 4 of us, Brad Parrott was there at some point, up through the Buddy Parrott days.
Yeah.
Until Robin came, and so there was the 4 of us that basically put the cars together, did all this,
4.
and then set them up.
4.
Four.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, this is an era that you worked your guts out to get to the track, and then
We worked a lot.
everyone saw the glam.
I call them roofers, right? I'm going to go back to that because you do
That's your
everything from the
favorite?
roof down.
Yeah.
And what I'm getting at is that, you know, I got to Penske Krampus in '98, and I counted everybody who worked there, including the girls up front, and there was 40 of us.
40.
You know, and that's everybody
Right.
in the whole building, and that's the floor sweeper. That's everybody. And now there's 100 guys per team,
Yeah.
which that's gonna we know that's gonna come to an end.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to be more of a roofer, and hopefully us roofers can hang on a little bit, because we're willing to, you know,
Learn the new car coming.
learn a new car and say, yeah, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that.
Jack Ely says, yes, you did. You were the Jack man. Good memory, man. Good job. That's
That
all
was
right.
a long time ago.
Awesome.
Yeah,
oh,
I
and
do remember that.
Wally McCarty says, and you were in a Miller Lite TV commercial.
Yeah, I was.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't have a speaking part, obviously.
No, but did you get like a VCR tape of it? Or?
Well, it was the ones where we.
Now you're
I think
dating.
Well, that's what it would
There
be
was a
on.
VCR tape, yeah.
Was it with
we brought
Dangerfield?
Be kind, rewind.
Yeah, we brought a gopher back to life.
Yeah.
think Rusty went to speed of light. You get,
I
that's right.
remember that one now.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah.
we were at
Who convinced him to be part of that commercial? It was so like, what was that? No, I understand.
Dead president said,
I understand.
you want to be in a commercial?
we went to Fontana and we're making these commercials,
Right?
and we're all dressed up in these ancient time battle, whatever.
Right.
You know, and I'm running this catapult
Right? A catapult,
Yeah,
which would be
catapult.
awesome, yeah.
shot here. Well, they've got us in turn one, right at the end of pit road, and the wind's blowing out there 100 miles an hour,
Yeah.
and we've got these
Oh,
styrofoam rocks. So they said, all right, everybody get in their place, and
Right.
we got our horns on, we look like these Vikings and all that
Right,
stuff. you know.
right.
So I'm getting ready to fire off this catapult. So they go, action. Said, all right, so I'm supposed to count to 3, pull the rip cord on this catapult. So I pull it, and the styrofoam rock goes this way, and then the wind blows. They say, cut. We got to turn this thing
Turn it
around.
around
and
and face
go
that way.
So then
Control.
we fired off the rocket and flew about 300 yards. It was crazy. It was a cool day.
all right. This has come up, and it was. Ask him about. They want. Mike Smith says, ask him about sprint car driving is. Now you drove. Then you started driving sprint cars, right?
Yes.
Okay. How long did you do that for?
5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you do?
It was good.
Right.
We had some success. We won some races.
Right.
You know, we in my level of competition, 360s, local races, I actually won a national race in Arkansas at Speed
Very
Week with ASCS.
Good.
And had some fun. I went to Knoxville and had some good runs there, and I had a big crash that everybody talks about.
Oh,
that's
is that
Probably,
really
it's probably
good?
got 100,000 views on it. I'm up in the top.
Okay. So
You know,
all right, because
whatever on that.
all right. So
It's like a Ryan Newman number.
it's.
Oh, it's
yeah,
okay.
because, now that what year was that?
I want to say I was around 299 or 2000.
Okay. So just because they're let's just talk about it. So you go into turn. You still the start of a race, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's Knoxville. The format is you qualify.
Right.
The higher you qualify, the further back you start.
Yep.
And
The
it's all about,
inversion.
it's all
Yeah.
about the inverted points and this. And that. So we actually qualified pretty good. So we're starting back in the back. You might have heard this guy. His name's Casey Kane.
Okay, heard of him.
He's starting right beside me.
Mhm.
So we get the green flag, and kid 3 or 4 rows in front of us has a little bad start.
Right.
So we're all splitting, going around. Casey goes to the inside. I go to the outside. Casey gives him a wheel. Guy turns into me, and I'm up in the fence about 40 feet, asleep.
Big time.
Oh man, it
I
was
mean,
it was
you
a heck of a
tumbled.
It took me about an hour to figure out I was still alive.
But wait a minute. You came down. Then
Oh, and I did about 400 donuts.
because it's like I watched it today because one of your buddies was nice enough to send it. You were going fast in the tilt-a-whirl at Carnival.
Oh, it was. It
And
was
they
So
go-
was it throttle hung or was your
No,
foot
no,
on the
the
gas?
announcer-
Because you were.
Yeah, so it was your
my
foot.
foot was on. You get in a sprint car, you got like a stirrup.
Right.
So your foot's in there because they're pretty rough riding vehicles,
Right.
and so my foot was still on the gas.
So you were knocked
And
out.
you were out
I
cold.
was- I was
And you were
asleep.
just.
I was
Do you remember when you came? When did you come to? Like out of the
Yeah,
car or
I
in the
woke
car?
up, I woke up a couple times, while they were getting me out of the car, and then I finally came to fairly good about an hour later at the hospital.
Got it.
Yeah.
But you still kept racing.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We raced.
That's it. Perfect.
I actually flew home, went to Watkins Glen, flew back from Watkins Glen, and got my stuff in Kansas City. I think is
Right.
where I ended up with it. and we raced Wichita on Monday.
Hey, aren't you the guy? And you still hear about it today, don't you?
Yeah,
All right.
all the time.
Yeah, all the other great
Concussion
things.
protocol.
Oh yeah, we
All the
didn't pay
things you're doing.
attention to that.
3, 6, 9,
They
whatever.
just told me I couldn't sleep more than an hour at a time for the next day or two.
All right, that makes
So that was
sense.
good. Yeah.
All right, so Bill Mars, he says, what are your Billy's memories from the brawl after the Winston in '89? Now that was when. So that was Daryl Waltrip, right?
Yeah,
And Rusty. Now you work with Daryl.
yeah,
Now you're working with Rusty.
yeah.
So they get together on the track, and they go down into the
Yeah, I was with Daryl at that time, and you know, we kind of were all friends. We knew them guys. You know,
Sure.
Red Dog, Todd, and
Red Dog,
all those guys, and Big Fun and all them. So they have the little on track accident. And
Mhm.
Daryl's mad. We're all mad. And Rusty's headed to Victory Lane, and we're pitted right there at the entrance. Old Charlotte Victory Lane is right behind. Pit
Worst
Road.
best place you could be for that.
Yeah.
Thing, yeah.
So, you know, Todd Parrott comes through, pushing the back of the 27 car, and gives Sandy Jones a little shoulder. Because we're all right there greeting him as he's coming
Sure,
through
yeah.
the Victory Lane.
On Daryl's team. Yeah.
On Daryl's team, yeah. And the underlying story of that is that created the
It
whole
started.
damn infields
Yeah.
in a fight, you know.
Yeah.
The song they
No,
sang
oh, yeah.
for a while, yeah. So
Perfect.
it was I don't know, one guy got his finger bit pretty good because he stuck it in one of the guy's mouths. it was a mess, you know.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess.
But you know what? It lived on, and it's,
Yeah, and we were right there behind the speedway,
Right.
and the other side of the deal was, you know, over on whatever road off Harris Boulevard was where Blue Max was at. Which
yeah.
was
Oh, that's at shop. Yeah.
Well, we all ate at Sandwich Construction.
Yeah.
I remember that place. I worked
every
there.
day.
I remember.
Every
Made a table.
day.
Yeah.
And
So like,
so it was a deal. We were closer than they were actually.
Right.
So we'd try to get there top by the bar.
Sure. Yeah. I remember.
Well,
Yeah.
pretty soon, I think we were all leaving at 9:15 to go eat lunch, so we could all sit.
it turned into a race. Who could get there?
Because then we first, the other had to walk by them to get a table down
Okay.
below.
Got it. I remember that. Yeah.
Because nobody wanted to sit over on the front. or
Front of the car,
sit over there, So anyway, it was a mess. We all got over it, and
And then you went to work for him.
yeah, and then I ended up going to work.
And they're like, "Hey, we know you."
Which I worked for Rusty. I worked
Okay.
for Rusty way prior to all this
Yeah.
at Stewart Racing, and that's where I got to know him. And one of the reasons that I wanted to work for him again.
Okay. Perfect. Mike Cheek says, "Great guy, old school, just on his roof more than on his wheels." Tell him I said hello. Nice. Cheek. Good.
Thank you.
He was Bickle's crew chief in the York race.
Yes, yes.
All right. So now you've done the tire changing, Jackman, all stuff. When did the car chief, crew chief start?
Well, I don't really.
First of all, is it something you sought, or is it something they came to you with?
Well, no, I never really did. I don't think I ever really sought it. When Robin decided to leave, which none of us, I thought it was the best kept secret in racing at that time.
Right.
Nobody really knew. I'm sure. Well,
Robin
knew,
Pemberton,
yeah. Yeah. When Robin decided to leave, I don't think anybody on our team knew.
Really?
No.
Wow.
And you know, I'd been with Rusty for quite a while and had raced quite a bit of a few different things, and I don't really know exactly how it came about, to be honest with you.
One
But
minute
I got a
round
phone
about-
call. I got a phone call, and they said, "Hey, we're interested in see if you'd like to be crew chief."
From Who
Well,
called?
John Erickson called, and then next
Okay.
thing I know, Rusty Wallace was on the phone, and Roger Penske's on.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Holy
Oh,
cow!"
geez.
I was in shock, but it was truly one of the greatest moments in my career. And you know, I didn't say yes right away because I you know, that's a big
a
decision.
lot of eyeballs
Yeah,
on
yeah.
you. Yeah.
It's a big decision, and thankful to this day for Rusty giving me the opportunity to do it. You know, we did pretty
There's
good.
a lot of responsibility instilled on you immediately.
Oh,
upon sooner.
it's amazing.
I mean,
Young people that have never done this or done something
Right.
like that don't realize it, and I didn't realize.
but
it
it's
at the
also
time.
an honor.
And that's
I
an honor,
mean,
sure.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the, if not the highlight of my career. It's probably one of the top 2 or 3,
Right.
Very good.
without a doubt.
So how long did you do that for with them?
2 years.
Mhm.
Then I made it 2 years with him, and then they brought in Larry Carter,
Right.
and I think Larry went 2 years, and I think Rusty retired.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just were any hard feelings, or when they
No,
brought?
no,
Okay,
I don't think so. Not on my back.
Okay,
no.
because you're like,
No.
okay, I did it, and you didn't. you obviously did well enough. They kept you for 2 years. I mean,
Yeah. I think there was. Let's face it. If you're halfway intelligent, you could work with Rusty Wallace because he pretty well runs.
He's going to help
He's gonna
you.
run
It's
the
like
show.
working
Yeah.
with Mark Martin.
Right.
You wouldn't put. I think Buddy Parrott did an excellent job with him, and he
Mhm.
was a veteran guy,
Right.
and he did really good. And I think Rusty had a certain amount of respect for him, and Robin did a great job.
Yep.
You couldn't put me with a William Byron.
No,
Right.
because
You need a
just
check
wouldn't-
and house with me.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Makes sense.
the
Yeah.
perfect opportunity was
with
a
that
guy like
veteran.
Rusty. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Yeah. Especially at the level the sport was in today's environment, it'd be very hard to bring in a young guy that doesn't have experience.
Right.
You know.
True.
I always say this: veteran drivers do better with rookie
Rookie
crew
crew
chiefs than rookie crew chiefs do
With
Rookie driver.
with rookie drivers.
Right.
Because the simple fact is that driver's been doing this.
Yeah.
Right.
If you listen to him and you give him what he
Tell him,
wants,
right.
and you don't argue with him, you say 10-4.
We were-
you know.
You know what the engineer's saying? That's when they go, "What?"
We're still
Listen to the driver.
we were still in an era where engineering
Was still not as strong.
No, it was.
Yeah.
There
There was
we
no
had embraced
sim.
some engineering in our stuff,
Yeah.
and we were starting to see the benefits of engineering coming in the future, but we weren't there yet. And I'm just thankful I had that opportunity, and Rusty, I'm appreciative
Right.
for it.
It's awesome.
It is good
I
because
think
it's
that's
a tribute because you earned that because all the years, 14 years there. It's good. From Penske, you go to
Kind of went out after I left there and went with Brendan gone to
Mhm.
Vegas for
Right.
about a half season,
okay.
and that was a great opportunity as well.
He's a character. Isn't
He
he?
is a character.
I love that guy. to
He's
death.
awesome.
He's a
yeah.
Do any if he
Yeah.
called me today and
Absolutely great family.
yes,
And enjoyed my time there. And to be honest with you, we were running Steve Park and Brendan at the same time.
was it truck stuff?
Trucks, yes. And had good.
Shane Wilson there.
Shane was there prior. Shane came
Okay.
from Vegas with Brendan.
Did you work
to
with
run
Stockman? You know Danny
I
Stockman?
do know Stockman.
Okay.
Stockman's
Yep.
a great guy. He was an unbelievable worker at that
He's
time.
very focused. He's
Very
another
focused.
one.
Very
Focused,
intense
and
what he does.
He I knew when I worked with that guy in Vegas that he was going to be good.
Yeah.
Whatever he decided to do, and because he was the guy in there 1 minute putting tear-offs on the windshield and putting motors in. I mean, he did it all.
Whatever.
He was a roofer.
He's a
roofer, whatever it took.
Roofers make it in this sport.
I had an opportunity to possibly have Brent or Stockman work with me, and I didn't take that opportunity, and I wish I would have because he would definitely been a benefit.
Yeah, I like Danny a lot. I knew him from RCR. He's
Yeah.
good.
You know Vicky Brawley?
I do.
She said you're way out past your bedtime.
I need to get She's my next door neighbor.
Coming from her, then okay, yeah.
She's my next door neighbor. I'm usually in bed at 9:30.
Dave Chenette says Big Springs small bar days.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Big
Okay.
Spring to Rusty was a 400
Really?
back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of tricked him one time, ran a 700.
How'd that
Fire
go?
us all.
How'd it go?
I thought he was going to fire us all.
Did you know about
We ran third. Well, we
you
strived on it like a 500 or something.
Right.
I think he thought, oh man, we're really venturing on the big stuff, and everybody runs 700s, 800s.
Well, sometimes you got to do that.
Jeffrey, I'm going to blame that on Jeffrey Thousand.
Okay, that's good, but it worked.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, you got to do that sometimes. You got to fool the driver and think you did that. All right, so you did there, and then you come back to North Carolina,
Mhm.
and you
Dale
started
I'm crew chief for Dale Jarrett.
crew chief for Dale Jarrett.
Yeah.
And
then I did
Robert
that.
Yates Racing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Eddie DeHunt and them were there.
Yep.
And then it was after that stint with them for I don't know a few months. That was when Mike Ford left.
Got it.
Okay.
I filled in there for I don't know 8 or 10, 12 races.
See, once you're crew chief, you become the bullpen guy. Yeah.
So-
Oh, hey, he's crew chief before bringing.
Let me ask you this, because I always worry about guys that I know really like, and they go and they do this, and sometimes they can't get back in. Do you regret crew chiefing anybody at any time?
No, not really.
Because people always think if you're a crew chief,
You can't do anything else.
Well, you're one step closer to the door.
yeah, and that you can't like. No, you don't get it. I was a crew chief. I'll be a car chief.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean? I just want to
Fine.
help.
Sure.
I went through that, crew chief You know, it's
You get
a
labeled.
lot of
right?
guys. Yeah, a lot of guys. You gotta swallow some pride,
Right.
Because you don't want to go back down. Nobody wants to go back
Yeah,
down.
yeah, but if you have to, you have to, right?
We work.
But I absolutely love my job now.
Right.
And
Right.
I've been a car chief for several years, and I think it's better than being a crew chief. to be honest
Before we
with
get to that, we have to do another
Go ahead.
round of sponsorship
Let's
here.
do it.
We don't have a
Money.
commercial that you can be in, but
Bring
you
some
can just
money.
sit there and what'd you say?
Bring some money.
Bring some money, and he says, okay. We got once again. We're gonna have Lake Norman Petty on Game Rooms. Go see Brad out there on Brawley School Road. We need to do a Saturday afternoon show there.
We're gonna.
We have
We're
to
gonna
do it,
definitely do it.
especially when the weather gets nicer.
We'll make
whenever
some
we come
pina
up,
coladas.
We'll make some pina coladas.
Absolutely.
He might have stuff we could work with there.
Absolutely.
He has a cooler there. We could sit at one of his big
Right.
pubs.
We'll have a
It'd be
little
great.
fire.
Little fire. That's good.
Luau. Melee Kalikimaka. Oh,
People
that's
wearing
Merry
Pub Table
Christmas.
Racer
Right.
t-shirts, and yeah, we could do that. Also, racingjunk.com. Be sure to check them out. Anything he needs there, just go get it. We're gonna probably have some more merchandise on there if I can get the pictures I have. We also want to touch upon the garage shop. Appreciate Aaron and his support and the work we're kind of do. I forgot to mention we're gonna start doing a little cross promotion with him, so that'll be good with the garage shop and
Sure.
us. Be good for all of us. And coming up, rapid removal starting next week with our guest. We'll have next
Darren.
week. Darren,
Yep.
your coworker.
Yep. Mine works at Penske. with
Perfect.
Engine,
There we go.
Engine tuna.
That's good. So there we go.
Tuna.
All right, so let's catch up. Now you work where?
Junior.
Junior
No,
Motorsports.
let's go back just
Oh, okay.
10 seconds. This man right here helped Chase Elliott
Oh yeah, that's right.
because you were on that. I remember seeing you at Bristol, and you're with Chase
Mhm.
when he's doing the K&N.
Yeah. Yeah. That
So
whole
true.
deal.
he made another short stop back at Hendrick.
Yeah.
Okay, so-
Well, I've been trying. You know, when I left Robert Yates,
Yeah.
I didn't have anything, and actually Frankie Kerr called me and said, "Hey, call this guy." So I called up David Gillen,
All right.
and called him up, and he had been running the West Series, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and he won that Toyota Showdown
Right.
at Earldale.
Big deal.
And he said that guy got a money guy out there who wants to run some Bush or whatever it is.
K&N or whatever.
It's Bush Series.
Bush North.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to run Bush Series. He wanted to
Okay.
run
Okay.
Nationwide or whatever we were at the time. So I call him up and he's in California. And he's bought some cars and he's got some stuff going on out there in Riverside. And so, long story short, I go out and talk to him. Come back, he's wanting to do this thing in California. So I get talking around, and Eddie Dickerson,
Yeah.
I have to put a word in for Eddie. Eddie was out and didn't have anything going. I called him up and I said, hey, this guy's doing this and that. So we go back out there together. We're looking at this thing about possibly doing something with him.
Mm-hmm.
So we go out and talk to him, and we said, hey, this is going to be tough to do out here. What do you think about coming back to North Carolina? So the guy says, can we win? I said, I think it's your only way. So he said, okay, we
If
can
you
do it.
want to win, you got to come back
He
here.
said, well, how much is it going to cost to win? I said, a lot, and then a lot more.
Right.
So we come back, talk to Travis Carter, end up renting a building.
The
up
building.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Travis's place.
Along I-40 there. Yep.
Yep. And we ended up bringing all of his equipment here, and we started building some cars, and that was in, I don't remember what year that was. 2000.
What was the name of the team?
It was Clay Andrews Racing.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so we put that deal together at 84, and we didn't go to the speedways. It was going to be a partial schedule to start with, and we went to a few races and ended up going to Kentucky and won a race.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, David's going to drive for Robert Yates.
Okay.
Oh, so
And
Gillen was the driver.
Gillen was
Okay.
the
Got
driver.
okay. Got it.
We won Kentucky.
Because Gillen won an Xfinity race with I don't think there was a sponsor on the car.
No, we picked up sponsorship. Clay Andrews spent all his own money.
Yes, I remember. Don't you remember that?
No, I'm thinking about that race. Was that the car? That,
Was it
Richmond
Richmond?
Black.
Yeah, it was all black.
and then they sold it. Was it legal or was it?
No, it was legal.
Okay, got it.
What
Yeah.
race did it win?
There-
Was it
Kentucky.
Richmond? Kentucky.
Yeah.
Because I remember another team bought the car and they went to inspection. It said it was legal. You know, am I on the right path?
I don't know anything
Oh, you're
about
so
that.
full of shit.
I don't know anything about that. You know.
That's all right. I just, I do
There's
remember.
nothing wrong with that car.
Yeah.
I just remember
There's
dumb
good
shit.
The
like
VIN number was good.
Robert Richardson, if you're watching, let me know if I got the right story there.
So then the deal, I actually ended up with Joe Nemechek,
Okay.
helping him.
Okay.
And then Bill, we ended up making contact with Bill, and he was looking for somebody helping with K&N. So I was kind of doing a deal with Joe and Chase at the same time.
Oh,
And
Bill,
this
you
is
mean Bill
when-
Elliott. He was-
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And they were doing this out of their place in Dawsonville.
Okay.
Okay.
And, they signed up a deal with Hendrick.
Mhm.
And so when Bill actually did call and we discussed, he just needed somebody to go to the track and help him with the process.
Right.
Because NASCAR program is a little different
Sure.
than your late model.
Yeah. But with your
Practicing.
experience, I mean, you can
Perfect
do the
person.
whole deal, right?
Right.
I mean, you can.
That's where
Yeah.
that's where I fit
That's
in.
where you fit in,
Yeah.
right?
So that gave me an opportunity to talk to some people back in Hendrick.
Yeah.
Got it,
And
gotcha.
then when they actually brought that deal in house, through talking with Lance McGrew and making some contact there and with Rex Stump at the time and then Bill, I was able to go in and work with that group down there with Pete Wright
Yeah.
or Jim Long and all the guys that were in the R&D at the time.
Right.
Right.
And they told me going
Development R&D,
right. They told me going in, this is a couple year deal. We'll see how it goes, and we're not going to keep this R&D program at 12 people.
Right.
We'll go back down. So this will be a 1 or 2 year deal with them.
Okay.
So then that worked out, and I ended up they put myself and 2 or 3 others up at juniors.
Right.
With I ended up with Regan Smith and Ryan Pemberton and them, and I've been there ever since.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So that Hendrick connection to juniors,
Yes.
they're down. They have to downsize the R&D deal
Right.
for Chase, but the connection and the work you did at Hendrick puts you at
Gave me
junior.
an opportunity.
Junior
Yes.
Motorsports.
Yeah. Gave
So
me an
how long have you been there with Junior Motorsports? then?
7 years.
7 years. Good guy. And what's your title role there?
Clerk chief on Justin Alder.
So number 7. Okay.
Been on the 7 since I started there.
That kid is this close to
Oh,
pulling all
been
up.
right there.
That kid. I mean, if I could give.
He'll be fine.
Well, I know. I understand horseshoes, lucky rabbits,
Yeah.
but the stuff that he goes through. But he pulls off some wins,
Oh yeah.
and when he does win, then he wins the next week again, which is rewarding if he was the car chief, right?
Oh yeah.
Did you put that
Anytime
thing
you
together?
win, It's rewarding.
Yeah.
Don't care what
Absolutely.
part you play,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It don't matter what.
So
It don't matter if you luck into it. It's
It's-
rewarding because you luck out of it.
Right, if you luck out of it, it's tough to get back in. So I heard. Junior Motorsports. There's a lot of guys that have been up to the ranks in NASCAR. Not that they come down, but they've taken on roles at Junior Motorsports that. Pemberton, you got Danny Earnhardt, you got Danny Jr.'s there. There's a lot of guys that I've never been through there, but I'm sure there's like a who's who in there that's
Yeah.
working.
There's a lot of guys there that have been in sport for a while, and then we've actually got a good crew of young guys.
Good, but you need to
Yeah.
meld them together.
There's a younger guys that are coming along and learning the sport and learning how to make their way. A lot of
That's good.
engineers.
Good.
Yeah. We've
And you know what I
had-
say about that? The group of older guys you got there is so strong. Them young guys
Better listen.
are going to be strong,
Right.
just
They're
as
just
strong,
learning, just by
because
being
they're going to get good information,
Right.
not bad information.
Exactly, because they all want to win
We've
together.
got 2 or 3 guys that have gone through our engineering department that are engineers at Hendrick now.
Nice.
Good.
So
That's
there's the system's working. I
Right.
see, guys can see an avenue of progress.
So
Right.
what's it like to work for Dale Jr. and his sister Kelly? Because, they run it together.
Yeah, it's good. It's probably one of my favorite jobs that I've had.
Really?
Good. I
Why is that?
I don't know, it's laid back.
Yeah.
It's just
I was going to say, I
It's
bet it's
comfortable.
very easy going.
Sure.
comfortable.
Okay.
Get your
I
work
mean,
done.
you're there to work and win,
Yep.
but you don't go in every day feeling like it's good. It's one of my favorite jobs I've had in
That's
racing.
good. Because I know that people go there say the attitude and the way they do everything is just kind of,
Yeah.
you want to work harder, but because they're not like, come on,
Yeah, it's great,
Dale Jr.'s
great
not there
place.
hitting you over the head with a wrench.
Great place to
Get
work.
going.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so now let's get caught up. In addition to all the other stuff, you have your own business.
Yeah, I've been in storage before. Now I'm in it a little bit bigger.
Okay, so what do you mean you started like
Well,
owning,
I've had-
part owning? Or?
Yeah,
Right, not like
okay.
cold storage bodies or
No,
nothing.
no. Storage,
Storage units.
buildings, yeah.
So like if someone, had too much stuff, they move in a house, they come to you and they say, "Let me put my stuff in."
Right. Yeah, it's just, you
Where's it located?
5x10s. It's in Denver.
Denver. Okay.
Yeah,
What's it called?
Loftus Mini Storage.
What's it called?
Loftus.
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 Okay, got it.
Mini Storage.
Right.
I store indoor parking or outdoor parking, and
Okay.
they've
For like
got your
boats and
standard
RVs.
units.
in there?
Yeah, boats and RVs. Yeah.
And then you have the units too.
Yep.
How big are they?
5x10s to 10x30s.
Perfect. There you
Everything
go.
in between.
So you have that. How long have you had that now?
2 years in April.
Good. How's that going? You noticing
Really good.
all the people moving in here and all these apartments?
Good
being built?
retirement, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I wish I had done it 10 years ago.
Yeah, everybody said storage. So wave in the future. Nobody wants to throw anything away.
Travis Max says, I love working with Billy at JRN, great guy. Darnell, Todd, and Manley, who you know, Vicky, you know Darnell.
Yep.
It's like the old days. Is that because we're old, Darnell? Jamie Reynolds says, Billy, you were on the 38 car when Bill was on the 38 car when Billy was there.
Yeah.
Did you work with Wild Bill Johnson or Robert Yates?
Yes.
Okay, so that was
Yes.
back that up. Dan Lynch went up.
Yeah.
Perfect. You taught me. You say you taught me a lot, and good. So you're getting all kinds of compliments coming to you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
It's a good show.
You have made your mark in the sport. If there was like a Hall of Fame for crew members, you definitely do. No, seriously. I was thinking about that.
The reason we started this, though,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
we always say the
Thank
reason we started doing this is because we watch the Hall of Fame stuff. We watch this, we watch that, and none of the guys, not just average Joes that have been doing this forever, get any recognition. You know, and this is something we're trying to push. You know,
Right.
is for unsung heroes,
Right.
like someone like you who's been in this sport, who I respect greatly,
Right.
and I've been in this sport for a long time, but not, you know, you got 10 years on me or 15.
15.
You know, and we worked together at
I'm old.
I think I'm older than you, but you started before me.
Right.
I'm
Right out of high school.
I'm 55.
Yeah, he's not.
I'm 54.
Right. Okay.
Right there.
So,
I'm 56.
so you just started before me,
Right.
but you've been doing it longer than me. So what I'm getting at is that, you know, we worked together. We weren't really connected. I was at Penske Chronicles. You're at Penske with Rusty. I'm with Mayfield, and I knew of you. I knew a great tire changer. Respected you. Granted, we never like sat down and talked or
Right.
whatever it was, but still, you see these guys. I watched your career go through. You know, I watched you become a crew chief. I watched Dennis. You know, I lost you for a little while. Watched you, seen you at Bristol one day. You know, and I don't even know. I might have waved to you. We might have waved. We might have
Sure.
connected. Whatever. But it's like the guys like us that don't get any recognition. To me, is we're the foundation of this sport.
Exactly, because without behind the
You know.
scenes,
Right.
building cars, doing what you're doing,
Right.
they're these. They would work on my own car. What are you talking about?
I mean, I think, and I'm not going to take anything away from any driver
No,
or any crew
because
chief.
we've had
but
plenty
I
of
think
drivers
Jeff
on
Burton's
this.
up for his Hall of Fame thing.
Right.
Well, Billy's been in the sport way longer than him.
Right. Yeah. Just saying, if there would be a Hall of Fame, you would definitely.
Well,
Changes in the sport. What do you like that you've seen the progression of the sport? What do you, like you've seen? Like let's say 5 years. Yeah.
That's a tough one there.
anything.
Well, I think, you know, I miss the days when we go to the track and we, you know, were able. I miss that. I see some benefit from it. You know, I mean, there's always a lot of ways to look at things, but I miss that part of it. That's part of the competition that I enjoy.
Right.
And I think it's, you know, I think it makes for the weekend, for the show.
Right.
You know, if you want to. Is it necessary? Obviously, at this point, it's
Yeah.
not.
They're showing it's
You know,
not.
Real
it's
quick.
not.
So if you had one hour practice session, you'd be good with that.
Yeah, I actually, to be honest with you, I got to throw something toward the dirt program a little bit. You know, they want to save money and they want to do these things. I felt like we could get, you know, one set of tires in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because how many times would
let's
it make
face
10
it,
laps to come back?
we roll them out of the truck, we go through tech, and we're racing now.
Right.
What would be the difference if we went out and had a 15-minute practice session? I mean,
Agreed.
some of the best
I agree.
racing I ever watched, you get 8 laps or 5
Sure.
laps of dirt lap, you know, dirt
Yeah.
track hot laps.
Good
And,
thought.
You know, I'm gonna give.
And
a
you
plug.
raced on dirt, so you know.
I'm gonna give a plug to the Chili Bowl. It's
No,
the best race of
phenomenal.
the year, and you
Phenomenal.
get 6 laps of hot laps and a heat race and a
Right.
fire, and here we go.
And the place is packed.
It's packed, and it's the best racing ever.
People love it. Okay, so it's one thing. Like, I agree. I like to see like one practice session,
Yeah.
just so you can, so you know, so you're not out there going.
Right.
And I think of people like Jennifer Jo Cobb. You know, she went out, the brakes weren't one time, and then the track bar wasn't
Right,
right.
like a
And you would
shakedown practice.
Yeah, like so everybody knows their stuff's good. You go out there and then you
Right.
waste your entry fee
I
and the
think-
travel for
I
nothing.
think that's especially for in the world of one race for your championship. I think it's critical that you
have
get a
that.
practice in that.
I agree with that.
You know.
And even like a shakedown of, heck, even if it's first of all, like you said, one set of tires.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
tires are so expensive.
Right. Sure.
So one set of tires, and it's an hour. Whatever you want to do in that hour, one set of tires is up to you.
Exactly. You know, and I say if you can make 1 lap, 10 laps, 5 laps in 15 minutes, you're going to
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
And there's so much on the line for the teams and the sponsors and everything to go to the last race and not be, rolled
Sure.
out of the trailer or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm just saying, I think that's critical.
Right.
Yeah, and what these guys go through now with splitter heights and travels and all of this, and if you don't hit it just right, you
Suffer all day.
suffer all day, or you chase it all day.
Right, before we wrap up, if your career ended tomorrow, any regrets?
No, I
Heck
think
no.
Well,
I think it's been good. We've
Yeah.
been almost a winner on every team we've ever been on. And
Right.
one regret, or there's nothing I can do to change that. But I really wish we could have won one race when I worked for Richard Petty.
Got it.
That would have been, to me, would have been the cap
Right.
to all of
You're
it.
a hero.
Right.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I grew up. I carried a stock car racing magazine with him on the cover to school. My English teacher told me, she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Man, I'm reading up on the latest series." And she absolutely hated that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was more interested in that than I was paying attention to her.
Right.
But anyway, if there's one thing that
Right.
could go back and say, I'd like
Okay.
to have won one race with Richard.
And
Petty.
could
And we
you-
were close. We had some seconds, and
Yeah.
it was. Dale Earnhardt actually took a couple wins away from us.
Damn.
But
That's
imagine that.
Yeah.
And if it did, as the bell chimes here, could you say, you know what? It's been a really good run.
Oh, it's been great.
Yeah, that's good.
Absolutely, wouldn't trade no.
Perfect.
Good deal.
Hey, you know what? I want to thank you for being on here.
Okay.
Seriously, appreciate you. You are legendary status. It's an honor to have you on. You have your water? Your toaster?
No, I'm good.
You want to toaster?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Wait, one's got to get an empty. No, excuse me. All right, I appreciate you being on, Billy.
All right, Billy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There we go.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. We'll see you around.
Enjoy it.
And should we close the show?
Close the show.
Say goodnight, Dick.
Good night, Dick.
Yeah, thanks everybody. See you next week, Tuesday night. Wow, hey, another great show.
Great
Thank
show.
you so much, everybody,
Yep,
for tuning
enjoyed
in.
it.
We appreciate it. We do this every Tuesday night, and Warren, I think the guests we've had have been fantastic.
Phenomenal.
And the people that are following us, we appreciate it. We're reaching 42,000 people a month. Can you believe that? And we appreciate you watching. And
We're having fun. Hope everybody else enjoys it.
that's it. This is just a fun show. Bucket of beer, guys sitting around talking about it. So keep tuning in. We appreciate it. Check out our store and everything. But we appreciate you people, and we will see you next week, right, my friend?
Yes, sir.
All right. See you next week.